Okay, so today we're going to talk about 4.6 Manifest Destiny, focusing on the Mexican War and how the Mexican War played a role in expansion. So I know we've seen this image before. It's the image of Manifest Destiny. So Manifest Destiny is really this person right here, this woman, angel, is known as Manifest Destiny. And as you can see, we've got the darkness over to the left. We have the lightness to the right. She's traveling westward, bringing the light into the dark. We see the natives' way of life. We see the buffalo over here. We see Native Americans right here. The Native Americans are looking behind them. That seems to be running away from her. Whereas we see other people kind of coming with her. We see the nature running or heading in the direction of west. Behind her, we see industry, we see boats, we see what looks like a city, we see railroad, all coming behind her. We see farming. We see a stagecoach, this movement westward. We see what looks like prospectors. So the idea is with this image is that the Manifest Destiny is this idea that it is our destiny to establish the country from sea to sea. And this is shown by this of, you know, we're moving you out of the dark and into the light. This is what we are supposed to do. This is what we are meant to do, is follow this person over to the west. So the Battle of the Alamo. The Battle of the Alamo took place between Texas and Mexico. So at the time, Texas was part of Mexico. So the Battle of the Alamo is Texas versus Mexico. The Texans held out for 13 days, even though they were severely outnumbered. And after the end of 13 days, essentially everyone was killed inside of the Alamo. So even though technically this was a defeat, what it did show was the Texan resilience and the want for independence. So finally in 1836, Texas had declared its independence from Mexico. And as you can imagine, this created really strong tensions between Mexico and Texas. The problem was, though, is that Texas was in a lot of debt after the war. So this led to Texas being annexed. In other words, taken in by the U.S. And that happened officially in 1845, is when Texas was annexed into the U.S. Therefore, continuing this idea of manifest destiny. However, this led us into the Mexican War. So Mexico actually had this fear that the U.S. was going to take over the Mexican territory and that Mexicans would be treated as slaves. It began in 1846 and lasted about 1 year. The Mexican army was poorly equipped. And poorly led. This is super interesting because it was actually the first war to be covered by the news. Because newsprint was widely available. The Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo was this idea of Mexican cession. So Mexican essentially they withdrew and left Texas, which led us to the Gadsden Purchase. The Gadsden Purchase was important. It happened in 1853. And essentially it ended westward expansion. Because they purchased the last piece of land, I should say the United States, purchased the last piece of land to complete the Transcontinental Railroad.